Okay, so this is going to be my official Tank Davis versus Mario Barrios prediction. If you didn't know, my name is Johnny Boy, and I'm consider myself the most interesting man in the YTBC, or at least other people seem to think so. Um, but if you followed my old channel, you'd know that I'm not too fond of Tank Davis. I think the guy's a fucking puke. I think he's getting way too much props for the kind of competition he's fighting. He's, as I said in the last video I made about Tank Davis, and like I say, if you guys followed any of you guys that followed my own channel, my old channel, you'd know why I don't credit Tank Davis with a lot of his wins, because he fights a bunch of little dudes moving up. Now, and just to reiterate what I said in the last video I put up about Tank Davis, he's not a multiple weight champion. He's never won, the only division he ever won a legitimate title in, a real title, not a silver title, not a secondary title, not a regular title. The only time he ever won a legitimate world title was the IBF 130-pound title against Jose Pedraza. Okay? So kill all this bullshit about how he's a multiple weight champion. He's not. He's a one division, one title holder. That's it. All them other belts are fugazi. But let's start with going through the tail of the tape. I just had to get that out here real quick. So Tank Davis stands at 5'5.5". He has a 67.5-inch reach. He's 26 years old. He fights out of the southpaw stance. His record reached 24-0 with 23 wins coming by way of knockout. Now that's quite a high knockout percentage, but most of them are against little bantamweights and nobodies. Mario Barrios stands at 5'10". He has a 71-inch reach. He is also 26 years old. He's an orthodox fighter. His record reads 26-0 with 17 wins coming by way of knockout. So they're both the same age. They're both undefeated. I wouldn't consider either one of them elite, but they're both upper echelon, like top 10, lower end top 10 guys in their respective divisions. Tank, I don't consider a lightweight. He never fought at lightweight. He fought one time at 135 pounds against a 40-year-old Gambo with the broken ankle. I don't consider Tank a lightweight. So this is a very interesting fight. I think it's a pretty hard fight to dissect, to be honest with you, which is why I didn't do film for this one. I'd rather just use my mind. Here's the thing. So I've done a lot of watching on Tank Davis's past fights and Mario Barrios' past fights. Now, first of all, let me get my personal bias out of the way. I am rooting for Mario Barrios, El Azteca. Okay, I hope he knocks the fucking dog shit out of Tank Davis. As I said on my old channel, I had the privilege to meet a couple of Mario's aunties and cousins and shit, because he's got family up here in Chicago and Milwaukee. Very, very nice people. Very family-oriented, hard-working Mexican motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, just cool people. Good people. You understand? So, for that reason alone, because I know, because I met some of his kinfolk, I want him to whip Tank Davis' fucking ass, because Tank Davis is a woman beating the Scraziata Rat Pestado. Okay? And Barrios comes from good stock, unlike Tank. His daddy was a crackhead that wasn't man enough to take care of him, and his real father, Floyd Mayweather, is a pussy fucking puke coward in his own right. So now that I got my personal bias out of the way, I hope Mario Barrios beats the shit out of Tank Davis. And he's a big boy. Don't be shocked if Barrios takes this one. I'm not going to be shocked if he ends up pulling off the upset. Okay? I'm curious to see what the odds makers are going to have this fight as. Very curious. Speaking of the odds, they just released, at least on my site, they released the Nakatani Lomachenko odds last night. Or maybe it was the night before, but regardless, Nakatani's like plus 700 or plus 750 or some shit. I think Lomachenko's going to win, but Nakatani's a gangster. I threw a little 5 spot on him. You never know. You know what I'm saying? But I do think Loma's going to win. If you watch my prediction video on that fight, you already know that. But you never know. It's the fight game, right? And that's pretty big. That's pretty wide odds for Nakatani as far as I'm concerned, because he is a gangster. Now, but back to subject. So Mario Barrios has got, 3.5 inches of reach on Tank Davis, and he's about 4 inches taller. They're the same age. They're both undefeated. Tank's a lefty. Barrios is a righty. Now, Tank has fought in taller and lankier people before, right? Santa Cruz, Pedraza, except those are the only 2 legitimate names on his resume, right? I actually think if he were to rematch Pedraza at 140 right now, Pedraza might whip his ass. But, especially because I won some money on Pedraza last weekend. But anyways, what's it called? Yo, hold on while I break. So here's the thing. He's fought in taller guys with length on him before, right? Tank Davis has. But never to the extent of Barrios. I think Santa Cruz is about 5'7". Tank's 5'5.5". I think Santa Cruz had a 69-inch reach, if memory serves. Barrios has got a 71-inch reach. So he's a couple inches taller than Santa Cruz, couple inches longer than Santa Cruz. Now, I remember on my old channel when I made my Tank Davis-Santa Cruz prediction, I basically said it was going to be a carbon copy of the Pedraza fight. And pretty much, not exactly, of course. Santa Cruz performed better than Pedraza did, but it was pretty much that. He got knocked out in 6 rounds. Same with Pedraza. Had his moments, but eventually got knocked out. With Barrios, though, he's the biggest man he's ever fought. Okay? Here's where I think the issue comes in for Barrios. His lack of competition. He ain't fought fucking nobody. That's the only problem I see. He's got the size. He's got a nice height and reach advantage over Tank Davis. And Barrios can punch, too. This is a tough fight to call, man. And plus, on top of that, you don't know what Tank Davis is showing up. You don't know if this is drunk, fat Tank Davis that went to fat camp instead of training camp. So it's kind of a wild card to make a pick on this fight. It is. But here's the thing. Here's where I as much as I want Barrios to win, I do think Tank Davis is going to win, unfortunately. And I'm going to tell you why. Barrios is bigger than Santa Cruz. He does hit harder than Santa Cruz. He is taller, he's got reach, all that other shit. But Leo had so much more experience than Barrios did. He had fought so much better competition than Barrios has. And Tank Davis's resume is dog shit in its own right, but Barrios just hasn't fought anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tank Davis's resume is overblown, overrated, and bad enough as it is. And this is nothing against Mario. He just hasn't fought anybody yet. He hasn't crossed them bridges because he's with PBC. And Top Rank has all the guys at 140 pounds. They have Josh Taylor. They have Ramirez. They have Baranchik and Postal and Arnold Barboza and all them guys. They have that whole division aside of Barrios and Prograis. They're on the PBC. Other than that, Top Rank has everybody in that division. Understand? So that's why I think he hasn't fought in people yet. But, and another thing we're going to clear up right away. If this goes to the cards, Barrios was not getting a decision. There's no way they're going to let Floyd Mayweather's fucking bastard child lose a decision on pay-per-view. It's not going to happen. So Barrios has to get the knockout. Now, am I ruling that out? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Barrios is a big boy and he can punch. But he's not as good of a boxer as Leo Santa Cruz is. He's bigger and longer than Santa Cruz is and probably hits a little bit harder. But he doesn't have the experience of Santa Cruz. He's not as nearly as good of a boxer or as accomplished as Santa Cruz was. Okay? And I keep referring to that because that is Tank Davis's best win, even though it was a guy moving up that started off as a fucking bantamweight. But it's still his best win, which isn't saying much. Now, as I told you before in the last Tank Davis video I made, if Tank Davis gets touched up like he did in that Santa Cruz fight, he's going to get knocked the fuck out. If he gets hit as much as and as frequently and as often as he did in that Santa Cruz fight, he's getting knocked out. Okay, I can promise you that. But I don't think Barrios is as good of a boxer as Santa Cruz is. He's longer and taller, but he ain't got the experience Santa Cruz has. He's not as skillful as Santa Cruz is. And that's where I see the issue coming in. Okay? I don't see this fight going the distance. I think somebody's going to get knocked the fuck out one way or the other. I'm rooting. Head says Tank Davis. Mi corazón says Mario Barrios. Okay? So I don't see this fight going the distance. I think somebody's getting fucking smoked one way or the other. If you put a gun to my head, I'm gonna, with hopefully an empty chamber, I'd say Tank Davis. But I don't know, man. Barrios is a big boy. And here's another thing, bro. Here's the other thing that makes me worry about Barrios. He gets hit a lot, bro. And Tank's quicker. He's slicker. He's got better reflexes. And again, he's not going to get a decision against Floyd Mayweather's bastard son on pay-per-view. That's not going to happen. So Barrios has to knock Tank out. Now, if Tank's not taking camp seriously, this is why I'm saying this is a wild card of a pick. Because if he's fucking around, going out to the club and not training, A, B, C, and D, which from what I can have seen up to this point, it does look like Tank's taking this fight seriously. But that kid's a fuck up, so you never know. Not judging, but let's just keep it a buck now. So yeah, Tank's quicker. He's smaller, but he's quicker. I think he hits harder. He's got better reflexes. He's more dynamic. One shot that I have to say Tank Davis needs to watch out for is Barrios' left hook to the body. Barrios likes to throw that left hook to the body, and Tank Davis is a flabby fuck. He could very well break his ribs. So keep an eye on that. It might be important, people. Barrios' left hook to the body. All right? Now, again, I hope Barrios breaks his face. My corazón is with El Azteca. My head says Tank Davis. So, with that being said, I do think it's going to be a very back-and-forth type of fight. I don't think Barrios is going to die easy, but I do eventually see Tank Davis getting to him, stopping him, dropping him, and stopping him, son. Just my personal opinion. But again, I'm not going to be shocked if Barrios pulls this off. This is a big boy he's fighting. All right? Not going to be shocked at all in any way, shape, or form. But anyways, that's my 2 cents, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the video. God bless you all. Have a wonderful, what's today, Tuesday evening. And we'll talk to you on the next one. Hearts with Barrios, head says Tank. But it's going to be an interesting fight. Unfortunately, I got to watch Lomachenko-Nakatani that night. That fight's even more interesting to me than this one is. I don't know why these cocksuckers have to keep double booking these great matchups. And the reason another reason I'm watching Loma Nakatani over Tank and Barrios is because it's free. And I resent the fact that the PBC put this fight on pay-per-view. This would do huge numbers on a Fox, or a regular Fox, regular Showtime. But they decided to be greedy, penny-pinching pricks. And as Armand DeSantis said back in the day, they're squeezing a fucking quarter till the eagle screams. So, with that being said, rooting for Barrios. I hope he pulls it off, but my head is telling me otherwise. We'll see what happens. It's an interesting fight. God bless you all and have a wonderful evening. Salute.